It's the Playhouse Podcast with Kat and JJ.
Can't believe it. I missed everything.
Missed the show?
What am I going to do?
Check out the Daily Podcast.
Every once in a while, we do something called Beware of the X, where you get to come on the radio and just tell everybody why they should completely avoid that POS in your past. That was a lot of fun. That's coming up a little bit later on in the podcast. Here we go.
Question. When is the last time you buried the sausage? Have you ever done that?
Buried
like on your wedding?
Buried an actual sausage?
Yeah.
No,
That's
I've
the
never.
new trend right now.
Shut up.
No, it is. With weddings, it is supposed to keep rain away.
Shut
gotta-
up.
And
I'm not buying this.
it's a real thing. It was all over the news
Where does
yesterday.
it come from? It's some like ancient Native American tradition. I mean, where would somebody think, hey, if I take this ring bologna here I got at the Hillshire Farms and put it in the ground, it's going to keep the rain away on my wedding day?
Evidently, it's true. And who knows if that's just how the clouds aligned the next day for your wedding. But women everywhere are burying the sausage. And most of the time, like, the tradition calls for you to do it on the grounds of where you will get married. But if you get married at, like, let's say the local country club, you can't go and bury the
Or
sausage
a church where people are like, don't bury your sausage at the church, guys.
That's always been a duh. You cannot bury it on private property, but people are doing it like in the middle of the night
This is ridiculous.
and not getting caught, just burying sausage
If the
everywhere.
night before I get married, you find me with a small spade or a shovel digging up property to bury a ring bologna,
Yeah.
get
So,
the hell out of here.
Derek Wedding DJs, he has so much fun with that. Like, it initially started with, hey, you want to do it once a month? Do it. Have fun. We don't see him any Saturday for like 4 months, and he just comes home with like all these cool stories. But he says that the number one thing that makes brides nervous is if they have a ceremony outside. They're always nervous if it's going to rain that day.
Of course.
And so, you know, I would think that weather would be one of the number one worries amongst brides or couples out there that are going to get married outdoors.
Trisha's was clearly that the groomsmen and myself were going to get plastered before the wedding.
You know, it's such a shame that
So-
she has to think about that.
You know
That
what
you
she did
gave her
then?
the reason to think about
No. I
that.
think she knew it was more the guys I was with than me. I'm pretty responsible. But what she did is she scheduled all of our pictures for before the wedding.
Good idea.
So that so what happened is my groomsmen, they're all like, well, if we're gonna have to take pictures, we don't have time to get to the bar, so we got to have ours first.
Yeah.
So we took all the group photos first. Groomsmen, bridesmaids all went to the bar while Trish and I did our other ones. And luckily, my dad was my best man, and he was pretty smart about this. He's like, listen, have a beer if you want. He's like, you will forever regret it if you decide to start going Jameson and ginger ale before your wedding. And I was like, all right, I'll take the old man's advice. He was pretty smart.
That's probably a good bit of advice right there. But I want to know from people, like, what made you the most nervous about your wedding day? Maybe you were nervous about somebody showing up that shouldn't have shown up.
Oh, a crasher?
Maybe not being able to afford paying everybody at the end of the night.
Were you nervous about not having warm food?
No.
And just having all the
because
food
it's not the
cold?
bride's responsibility
You weren't
to light the burners under the food for their guests. That's what you pay other people to
Like,
do.
I
So.
basically paid to come to this wedding for cold food. What the hell am I? I drove all this way.
And forever I will be indebted. I apologize that you had to go through that
What were
on
you
my
most
wedding
nervous
day.
for? I mean, you get to the wedding, sir, and Kat had a pretty non-traditional wedding. It was just a handful of us on a boat.
Yep.
And we realized, I don't know, a few weeks before your wedding, that was the infamous boat that all the Minnesota Vikings and
They
a bunch
cleaned
of
it up.
ladies had some fun on. And you didn't walk through there with a blue light. You don't know, or a black light. You don't know.
It felt clean, but yeah, we got that yacht. I was worried about fitting into my dress, and that worry became a reality. Did not zip up the way I had planned. And you're like, oh, didn't you do anything leading up the days leading up? No, I didn't even think about it. I think I actually had stuffed crust pizza the night before. And so, yeah, just being cellophaned in at a gas station barefoot into my wedding dress.
This will be fun.
Was
Let's
not what I thought.
get into some of these stories. Will you call us right now with just what was your biggest worry as you were approaching your wedding day? If a guy approaches you and said, hey, I know we're going to this wedding tomorrow. Thanks for being my date. We have to bury the sausage.
Don't
Otherwise,
fall
they're going to
for
get
it.
rain. That's on you, but he's really talking about...
It's what brides are supposed to be doing, and it's a huge tradition right now. to bury the sausage on the grounds of where you're going to get married, and it will keep the rain at bay.
So you
for your wedding day.
legitimately go to the meat market, you buy some sausage, and you're supposed to bury it where you're going to get married the next day.
Yes.
This is so stupid.
It was everywhere yesterday. I'm like, we have to talk about it. But we're not going to talk about burying the sausage. We're going to talk about those things that you were nervous about for your wedding day. What was on your mind, kept you up the night before? I hope this doesn't happen.
I'm excited to start with a guy here. Troy, what's good, man? How you feeling?
Good, man. Yourself?
Great. Thanks for asking. What were you nervous about before you got married?
Well, we got married on a scenic overlook just out of Ironton, Minnesota.
Beautiful.
And all the local kids and stuff go up there to park. And they leave certain objects around when they're finished. Well, so we've had to go up that night and then again in the morning to make sure certain objects weren't left around on the ground.
Ew.
How many did you find?
So that was at any given time, there's been times I'm sure there was 20, 30 of them on the ground, but
Gross.
before the wedding, it was probably about 8.
I'm going to say gross, but I'm going to say, wow, that's impressive that they're being safe about
So
that.
they're so responsible. Now, and you physically had to bend over and pick the used items up and dispose of them.
Oh, no, there was tongs involved.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. So you used the tongs and then you threw everything in a garbage bag and you got rid of it.
Correct.
All right. So, all right.
And then we made sure no one was going to park there anymore that particular day.
Yeah, I like
Just
that.
put a sign up. No Zex.
So
There's a wedding tomorrow.
as nervous as everyone is for their big day, you just wanted to make sure you weren't, stepping in anything on your way to the altar.
Or anybody else, yeah.
Well, I'd care about me a
And
lot
what-
first.
Yuck.
What made it more funny is when Kat just started talking about burying the sausage, I just started laughing because I'm like, I guess that kind of correlates together.
Led to your biggest worry. Hey, thanks, Troy, man. I hope you have a great day.
You too, man.
Take
Bye.
care. Kaylin, that's going to be a tough one to follow up on. Did you have to worry about any leftover prophylactics at your wedding?
I did not.
Okay.
I was worried that I was going to marry the wrong man.
Oh, my God. You had cold feet the day you got married?
I had cold feet. I was 22, though. So what do you know at 22?
So who was it down to? Who were the finalists here?
It wasn't like The Bachelor.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were afraid you were going to marry the wrong man, but you still had this plan and you were going through with it. And there had to be something in the back of your head that said the risk is worth the potential hazard, right?
Hey, we made it for almost 15 years.
Okay.
Okay, so you're no longer together. The one that you would have
Yeah, so
had to choose, was he waiting in the wings? Is this someone that you've come in contact with since?
no, there was no one else. I just
Oh, you had one. You had
okay.
you had one choice. You weren't
Got it.
necessarily thinking.
had one.
I got A and B. I want to
Yeah.
make the right choice. You had A, but yet you
Right,
still
right.
didn't know if that was going to be the right choice.
So my cousin's friend, and
yeah,
don't
and I should have gone with that gut, right?
I think all brides out there, and I love Psychic Kim, but don't go to a psychic the week before your wedding. Because my friends, or my cousin's friend, she went to a psychic the Monday before her weekend wedding, and the psychic put all this doubt into her mind, and she called off the wedding. Just because this woman said, I don't think
Oh my
this is who you
gosh.
should marry. I know.
Hey, Kaylin, were these thoughts of am I marrying the right person, were they coming strictly from you, or did you have input from mom, dad, brothers, sisters, friends?
No, they didn't say a lot. I think it was just from me. So
I think that would be one of the worst things to happen on your wedding day.
Were they
to be
15?
unsure?
Were they 50? Yeah, you're right. Were they 15 good years, or was it just kind of getting through it?
They were good.
All right.
No, they were good. They were worth it.
When you look back on the snapshot of your life, there's a pretty decent chunk out of that you had some good times with it, though.
That's right.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for sharing your story. I hope you have a
It
great
all
day.
works out.
Good.
You too. Thank
Take
you.
care.
I got a text message from this guy named Tyler, and I wanted to get your opinion on it. He said, read it during the morning show and see what your listeners have to say. And his text said, my girlfriend and I were moving in together. And because I make 30% more, I should pay 30% more of the rent. And he said, don't you think it should just be split 50-50? She said it should be based on individual salary. What do you think?
It's interesting.
that would never fly with a normal roommate, though. Like you move in with somebody else that might make a little bit more than you. You just split it down the middle.
That's a good point.
I think she's got the power of the you know what.
Yeah, and it's very powerful.
It's so powerful. Yeah. So
what would you say to that, though? Like, let's say you're moving in with your boyfriend and you're making a whole bunch more and he wants you to pay more. Would you do it?
I don't know. I think that's kind of a weird start to that part of your relationship. You know?
I think at the point where I would consider paying more as somebody who made more would be upon engagement.
Yeah, but
Probably
isn't that where we're going?
Maybe.
You know,
maybe.
I think people move in together because in your mind, this is the next step towards
or you
the
save
next
some
step.
money.
So I don't know, Tyler. I feel like it should just be 50-50. You know, your money is still your money until it's our money. And I'm trying to think of how Derek and I did it when we moved in for the first time.
Trisha was making so much more than me when she was working for Prince, and I had this dopey radio job. And
Did she foot the bill for a lot of stuff?
Yeah, she helped me with a lot of my bills. There were months that when I first started in radio that I had such tremendous student debt. And I had deferred, so I'd take a class here or there so you could defer some payments. And then all of a sudden, I wasn't going to school anymore. I was kind of done with that, trying to get my career started. I had about 3 side hustles along with my radio job. And she was making bank at Paisley Park. But she was cool about it. And she would see like my stack of bills in the kitchen. Like I'd go to work on a Saturday for a couple hours and she'd be like, can I help you with some of these? And I was just like,
wow.
Yes.
That's
yes,
a
you
queen.
can. But I think at that point I'm almost positive we were engaged at that point.
Okay.
We weren't living together, but we were engaged. And so she was helping me with some of the bills. She was still, she was working for Prince. She was finishing one of her degrees and she was living at home. So I think she had a lot of expendable income, and she was like, if we can get this relationship started at a little bit better financial spot,
right,
then maybe we won't be, struggling so much when we're, in our late 20s and stuff like that. So that was the way it worked with us. But I was like, gosh. And then after that, we split everything. Everything was one. I think we had joint checking before we got married.
Yeah, we did too.
I think we did. I think we had a joint checking account.
I think you just know that it's going to work out. So let's just, get the ball rolling with that.
Not always the way it works.
Yeah. Tyler, I think it would be, I don't know, if you're a listener and you have had to deal with that tough conversation of who's going to pay what, that's never a sexy conversation.
I got this figured out now. What? Dude, Tyler, if you're listening, shoot us a picture of your girlfriend. It's easy to tell.
So shallow.
It's easy to tell whether or not you should be paying more for the rent. If she's
we need a picture of Tyler too.
If she's a baddie, then go ahead, pay that extra money. If she's a 4 or a 5, keep your dough.
I say 50-50. I would just look at her and say, no, let's keep it equal. So at the end, nobody feels a certain way, and see what she says with that.
Would you say at that point, knowing that he makes that much more, then he should be paying for everything if they go out?
No, you should not. No.
All right, time for a relatively new game here in the Playhouse. Got Paul and Carrie joining us. Paul, what's good today, man? What are you up to?
Heading to work.
All right, Carrie, and
all
you?
Good. Heading to work.
All right, I like it. All right, everybody's needing some coffee this morning. So here's how this game is going to work. We're going to start with Paul since he was first through. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go every other one with you guys. I'm going to give you a quick plot of the movie, and then you've got to name that movie. You each get 3. If there is a tiebreaker, we will do a first name is your buzzer tiebreaker. Now, each of you can lean on Kat once for your lifeline. So if you don't want to answer it and you only get one answer, and again, Paul, we'll start with you. If you don't know it, you can lean on Kat, but you have to take her answer as the gospel. And whoever wins obviously gets the goodies. So, Paul, first movie, if you consider yourself a movie buff, this should be pretty easy.
And I'm a good lifeline. I'm a movie buff myself, so
listen closely. Here's your first one, Paul. Right. I'm kind of ungrateful for the way my life turned out. So one rainy night, I tried to help a janitor from jumping off a bridge and got sucked into a time vortex that took me back to high school, and I took a while to figure it out. What movie is that, Paul?
I'm going to lean on Kat.
All right, Kat, you're the lifeline. What movie is it? Don't Google it. Stay out of there. Stay off your keyboard.
Is it the Matthew Perry, Zac Efron movie?
I need a title.
17 again.
Oh, my God, you got it. That's it.
Yes!
Wow.
That is,
All right.
I love that movie, and Liam loves it now, too, because it's basketball.
All right, Paul's up 1-0. Got to make good on this, Carrie. Here's your first movie. And remember, you get one lifeline with Kat. I'm a matchmaker in New York, but I ended up falling in love myself with a journalist. But she eventually found out what I did for a living, including setting up her best friend with a scumbag, and it led to some problems. What movie is that?
Oh, I don't know, Kat. You're going to have to help me on that one.
That'd be Hitch, baby.
Yeah, wow. All right.
I need to get out the house.
All right, so Kat is off the table. It's tied 1-1. There are no more lifelines. Paul, here's your second movie. Good luck. I got offered a job with a New York magazine and moved, but then got into a relationship with a woman who recruited me, but only as friends, who got busy once in a while, and then it got very complicated. Name that movie.
I know.
I'm not sure. Devil Wears Prada.
No. Now, Carrie, you can steal this for a point. What movie is that?
I don't know.
3 seconds.
I don't know.
All right, Kat, what was it?
Proposal.
No.
What is it?
Friends with Benefits.
Who is that? Who's
Friends
in
with
that?
Benefits is Justin Timberlake and Mila Kunis.
Oh, my God.
All right, no points
Nobody
for that
saw
one.
that.
Paul, here comes your last one. You're going to need this, kiddo. I found the woman of my dreams and decided to date her. But the only problem is she has short-term memory loss and would forget me every single day. What movie is that?
First 50 days.
I'm going to take that. 50 first dates. Yeah, nice job, Paul. All right, Carrie, you need this for the tie and to force a sudden death.
Right.
Carrie, my buddy Jeremy and I were crashing weddings as usual, but I accidentally fell in love with a politician's daughter and tried to break up the engagement to get her to fall in love with me. What movie is that?
You gave her the answer.
Wedding Crasher.
Yeah, there it is. That is. Now,
So this is the tiebreaker.
this is sudden death tiebreaker. Your name is your buzzer, and you only get one answer. If you answer wrong, you automatically lose. But if you answer right, you win, and you are the movie master. Paul and Carrie, if you think you know it, yell out your name at any time. Even though I'm a veteran pot dealer, I had to create a fake family to move. Paul, it is.
Okay.
We Are the Millers.
That's it! On Thursday's live show, we're going to try and give you $4,000 at 7:05. And then, has your boss ever made you cry? What was the situation? These stories about 7:30 Thursday morning during the live show. Right now, let's wrap up the podcast. Beware of the ex. It's our portion of our little program where you get to tell everybody about your ex and warn everyone about how horrible they are.
Once again, to protect them, even if you're like, we don't want to protect them, we have to. Just first names and the city that they live in are the only personal information that you can give us.
Kaylee, good morning. How you feeling?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. Thank you for asking. Have you recovered from the horrible atrocities this person has put you through?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
It's been a while.
What's their name, and then what city do they live in, and what'd they do, girl?
Well, his name is Cody, and then I don't know exactly where he lives anymore because obviously I'm not keeping up with him.
Yeah.
But so he quit his job. He got a new job, and so then he moved away when we were living together, and he moved in with his brother. And he said he was fine to work, but he had quit like a few days in. And it was like a month. And then he finally told me that he actually quit. And he hadn't been going to work for a whole month.
And you were supporting him financially as he just sat at home and watched The Price is Right.
Why would you have to support him financially if he had a job?
Well, she's the girlfriend. You got to pay for him.
Gross.
I wasn't giving him much, so thankfully. But he is just lying. Didn't know what he was doing all day long.
You didn't ask him? He didn't tell you, like, just sitting down by the river or going over to a chick's house to game? Like, he didn't give you any info?
Nothing. I'd say, how was your day at work? Oh, it was good.
And that's it.
Well, I suppose just sitting around was considered work to that guy, and it probably was a good day, so it's not like he was lying to you.
Oh, my God.
That's not even the end of it, because then he moved back in with me, and then he decided he wanted to go back to school at 30 years old, which is great. So then we moved so where he could go back to school. Quit doing that and didn't tell me either.
Oh, my God, girl. You didn't do like a fool me 3 times, did you? He didn't move back in with you again?
No, that was it. I left.
What was attractive about this guy? I mean, obviously he's a sociopath. What was it that you were still attracted to?
I don't know. I was just stuck at the time.
I know.
Were you just young and dumb?
Yes.
Yeah.
No judgment coming from me if you heard the explanation of my ex a couple of days ago. I have no room.
He didn't lock you out on the balcony on a December morning, did he? In your underwear?
Thankfully not. No.
All right. Yeah. Well, so you're one up on catch. All right. Well, I'm sorry you went through that, but thanks for sharing with us. Again, Cody, if you know anyone, I think we make a blanket statement here. If you know any Cody whatsoever,
it's him.
He could be a sociopath and a pathological liar. Mm-hmm. And Kaylee says, don't ever give this guy the time of day because he'll steal your dignity and your will to live.
Well, I'm glad you're on your own, thriving, girl. Good job.
What's life like right now? What do you got going on that's great in your life that you've turned things around?
I'm great. I'm married now, and I have an 8-month-old daughter, and I'm doing great.
Love it.
How do you make sure your daughter doesn't date a Cody down the line?
Oh, I'll tell her my story.
All right. Yeah, that's pretty scary. You got us. Have a great morning. Over the weekend, we had a high school hockey getaway, and I had like 3 games, but they were all at wonky times. Bless you.
Sorry.
And so,
excuse me. I'm done.
So we had these games there at wonky times, and we had a lot of time to fill, and it meant a lot of the parents just kind of going to the bar or just kind of hanging out and go to get some lunch at a bar and grill. And we're at one point, and one of the other dads like, I got this wrong, guys. And I was like, geez, thanks, man. What's the occasion? He goes, it was my birthday the other day. I'm like, happy birthday. We should be buying you beers. Yeah. He's like, no. My mom and dad gave me a card that had $250 in it. And I went, wait, what? I go, how old are you? He goes, 45. Mm-hmm. Like, you're kidding me. Like, the cash cow stopped giving milk when I was 21. That was it. My mom and dad gave me $100 when I was 21.
And it wouldn't be paired with, like, a gift?
And no, that was just it. I quit getting gifts when I was 18.
You would just get a card.
A card with some money in it, right? And I remember maybe my 21st birthday, my mom and dad, they gave me, and I didn't grow up wealthy like you, so $100 to me was like, geez, that's crazy. But it just said, have your first quote unquote adult quote unquote drink on us, right? And I thought that was kind of cool. And then he says, at 45, I'm still getting $250 from my parents on my birthday.
That'll keep happening.
I was like, what?
Yeah. My mom she'll include a $100 bill inside a card, but she'll say stuff like, don't spend that on groceries. Spend it on yourself. Or she'll say, use this to go get a mani-pedi, but send me a photo. Like, I have to prove what I'm spending the money on. And then my mother-in-law will give me like $100 for my birthday.
But you can spend that on whatever you want.
She doesn't tell me what to spend it on, but like she'll give Derek $150 because she birthed him. But they're very generous. My mom's very generous. My dad.
What does your mom think you're spending this money on? Crack?
No, she thinks I'll spend it on stuff for my family and not for myself.
Forbid. Never spend it on your family, you evil human.
And I'm like, don't worry. I will go and get a pedicure. All right. You twisted my arm. But yeah, she's always done that.
Right away, Marcia said, I give my kids money now, but it's by Venmo. I gave my daughter $300 for her 30th birthday.
Oh, I guess if you're not going to see them, that's a nice thing to send. But I like them opening the card in front of you and seeing the money. Like, it's all about the gift giving in the moment. You're going to Venmo? Check your Venmo. Happy birthday.
I mean, I remember being 30 and, seeing my parents shortly after my birthday and my dad just reaching out, I hope you had a happy birthday. Like, it was just another day to my parents. I could never imagine turning 40, and my parents putting like hundreds of dollars in a card and giving it to me. That seems so wonky to me.
Same for Tanya. Did Tanya just get a card? I bet Tanya got a gift.
She probably got a gift and money because they knew she needed help.
And she's listening.
They knew I was going to be fine without their financial support, without their love. They knew that I was going to be fine, but she needed a lot of help. Like, she needed constant reassurance and stuff like that. And so I'm not really sure. Hey, good morning. How you doing today?
Hi, I was calling in about the birthday money stuff.
Yeah.
Do you still get money from your mom and dad for your birthday?
So my mom, actually both my in-laws and parents do, and it's great. It's nothing like $100 or anything. But what frustrates me is I have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old, and like my husband's extended family, like his grandparents and aunts and stuff, will send them like birthday cards with no money in it. I'm like, what is a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old going to do with this card?
Yeah.
Like, send them $2 or send us money for diapers.
And there's no gifts to go along with these cards. It's just a card that they can't read.
Exactly. And I'm like, I get so frustrated. I'm like, so you spent money to mail me this card or my son's this card, but there's not even like $1 so they could go pick out a little car or something.
Cards run about $3.99, $4.99 plus the 76 cents for the stamp.
So you're at almost $5. So I mean, that's good enough.
If they just gave them a $5 bill in passing, hey, I know your birthday is coming up, that would be much better than this like blank card. That's strange.
Why couldn't they just Venmo you $10 and say spend this on your kid?
That's how, I would like that than just a random card in the mail. My 4-year-old and 1-year-old just look at it like, what is this?
I know.
Did it sound wonky when you found out a 45-year-old man was getting $250 in a card from his parents and then spending it to buy us liquor?
Well, that was very generous of him. I want him to be my friend.
We only bought one round. Don't get him he's not Jesus.
So are you going to do this with your kids once? You most definitely give Peyton something, and he's 22.
My wife is the big giver.
Yeah.
Right? I'm a lot like my old man where I'm like, I want you to struggle a little so that you're not just a cheese puff when you turn 30. You know what I mean? But my wife is all about, if you want to be 35 and live here, that's fine. I don't care. Really, honey, it's okay. So I don't mind helping. Look, it's different, too, at his age, the way he is. Like, when I was 21, it was pretty clear cut that I was going to fail as a baseball player.
Yeah.
And my parents realized that I was at the lowest of lows at that point in my life, and they wanted to push me over the edge and really get me to do something with my life, which clearly didn't happen. But with my way my wife treats my son, she's like, well, he just graduated college. He's just getting his life started. He needs some more money to get his feet under him. I'm like, we're not saving everything that we had for him. Like, when he gets his first big boy apartment, it'll be fully furnished. He'll have a 70-inch TV.
Yeah.
I didn't have a TV at all.
You had to walk uphill both ways, no shoes.
I had to read the free newspaper to find out what was going on. So, hey, how about, does anybody in your family give them I mean, obviously a card is a wonky gift, but like my grandma Fran would give us, all the grandkids, $2 bills for our birthday.
That's kind of cool, though.
Oh, that is cute. No, well, on my side of the family they'll give them, or even randomly, like, my stepdad will give my son like a couple ones and be like, here, like put it in your
like
piggy
a stripper?
bank.
Yeah, that's cute. I love that.
Oh, no, but like,
put it in his
I don't
pants,
know.
does he?
I'm totally... No. He puts it. He has a little wallet.
Bingo! How fun!
Last week, someone lost an eye at bingo.
Bingo!
Bingo what bingo? Bingo! Bingo!
All right, here's how listener bingo works. Only the first caller through gets to tell their story. That's going to be Sherry, but is she somebody listening
who found drugs somewhere? Maybe it was on the street. Maybe it was under your kid's bed. Like, what is this joint doing in our house?
As a parent who full well smoked up a ton in the 70s, you ridiculed your child for finding drugs. I'm looking for anyone listening who up and switched schools for love. Again, somebody we work with in the radio industry, his son got into his first choice, Yale, and was committed to going to Yale this fall.
That is amazing.
And throughout the summer, found love in Ohio and has decided to stay at a junior college there because of the love. And dad is wigging out.
Yeah. I think at this point, can't you still pull rank? Can't you? I know they're 18, but I feel like you could.
Without mom and dad knowing, he turned it down. He said, I'm no longer going to be going to school here.
Wow.
All the financial aid stuff, everything gone. So, Sherry, which one do you fit?
The drug one.
Ooh, all right. First off, what kind of drugs?
Okay, so it was marijuana. It was a bunch of joints, and it was back probably about 20, 25 years ago. I worked at a dry cleaners, and when people drop their clothes off, you have to check through the pockets and everything. So the guy that came in, so what we did is when you find stuff, you have little bags that you put it in, you pin it with it, so when they come and pick up their clothes, and then you hand it to them. So, back then it was illegal, and there was a couple joints in there, and so we put it in the little packet, and then when he came, I'm like, oh, by the way, this lives in your pockets. I'm sure you want it back. And then when he opened it, his face turned really red. And there was a bunch of marijuana in there.
Now, so all the people there knew that there was the weed in the building, right?
Just one other gal.
Yeah.
And you resisted the urge of smoking those up after you shut the store down?
Or tattling. You didn't call the cops or anything, right?
Snitches get stitches.
Put it this way, the guy that it was, without saying anything, but no, I'm sure something could have happened if we went to got it back. So
wait,
no,
was this a cop?
No, it wasn't a cop, but let's say he was somebody went. I wouldn't say gangster, but kind of like that.
So you didn't want your life to be in jeopardy. You were just like, take the drugs back. We didn't say a thing. Keep coming here with your business.
It was in a little white thing. Like we put him in a little baggie and then handed it back, and then we didn't say anything. I didn't say anything when he came to pick it up. And then because he was standing there, but he opened it because, like, a lot of times people have money and whatever. There's money. You wouldn't believe the stuff we get. And we got, I should say, because I no longer work there. But, but he was like, so I don't know if, he was missing it, but it was quite a few,
You never know. The kindness you showed him by not turning him in, that could have gotten you, a lifetime of protection, you never know. Maybe he's been looking out for you this whole time.
Do you ever just think something bad almost happened to me, but it got cut off right before it did? That guy's probably watching over you now.
Why did I do my Italian hand?
Right. Kat assumes this guy's in the mob because, the mob presence around here is so big.
The garbage business.
Okay, anyway, and mattress firm.
Yep.
All right. Hey, thanks, Sherry. Great story. We really appreciate you. Have a great day.